Hi, and welcome to Comic Core. My name is Katlyn. I am the host of KatRen Figures and Cinema Figures. I'm also, if you didn't already know, one of the panelists for the Friday night stream here on Comic Core. And you may be wondering, where is the chilling adventures of KatRen Figures this week? Well, apparently that was a little too scary for some of you nerds. Shush, Midnighter, I'll get to you in a minute. So, apparently it was a little too scary for some of you nerds. So, instead I was asked to do a recap of the brand new series premiere for Game of Thrones. So, Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1 dropped this last Sunday. I don't know how you wouldn't know that. I don't know, maybe you've been living under a rock for the last, 6-7 years, something like that. Well, anyway, everyone else in the world knew about it. So I actually wrote this down. Don't make fun of me for this. I'm just making sure I have it correctly. So according to Entertainment Weekly, Season 8, the premiere, was the most watched program of the year with 17.4 million viewers across several platforms. So this was in the first day or so. So it's gone up quite a bit, especially when you throw in all of the rewatches on HBO Now, HBO Go, different online streaming services, people who watch it illegally. There's so many different people watching this one episode. So I am going to get into spoilers. I am going to get into a bunch of the highlights of the episode. If you haven't gone ahead, if you haven't already watched it, you know what? Go right ahead and watch this video because I'm sure the internet's already spoiled it for you anyway. It's kind of impossible not to with, the meme-centric world that we live in. I'm actually going to be throwing up some of my favorite memes from this video from this episode throughout the video. So, bear with me. I think they're all hilarious. But this episode, it was very much a coming home story. It's Jon Snow bringing Daenerys, bringing the Queen to Winterfell to meet his family and to help the North, to protect the North from the army of the dead. So, as he warned her, the Northerners, they're not super interested in having a Southern Queen again, especially not the fact that their king just yielded his rule to her, so they're really not impressed at the greatest army the world has ever seen, or, Daenerys just in general. But then they get to see two dragons. So I did really love that whole smirk that Daenerys had, and she's looking around. She's like, wow, they're not praising me or bowing or throwing out their hands or cheering or anything. But then they saw her dragons, so it's all good. It's all good. They're dragons, so, fear's good. Fear's awesome. So she does, in fact, meet the Starks and a number of the Northerners. Sansa, I mean, you're going to tell me that that's not perfect when she's just kind of looking at her like, huh, I'd love to kill you. She did tell her that the North was hers, but that's not what the eyes said. That's not what the eyes said. I'll throw up a meme right here. Tell you exactly what she was really thinking. But Sansa, very jealous, very, very on the fence with Daenerys. She doesn't trust her. She's a Southern Queen, and Sansa's learned not to trust Southern Queens. So, of course, Jon is he's reunited with both Arya and Bran for the first time since season 1, actually. So it's been some time since they've been on screen together, these actors. But throughout, I do love the feast that they have in Daenerys' honor. It's not really in her honor. It's just because they have to, kind of. And Sansa's going through the granary and what they have to feed their people in their stores, and she's saying that she wasn't exactly planning for the largest army the world has ever seen, or 2 full-grown dragons. And she asks, what exactly do dragons eat anyway? And Daenerys just doesn't even look at her, just says, whatever they want. Very much so. But I gotta tell you, the scene stealer, which she steals the screen for me every time this one character is on. I would watch just an entire episode of just her insulting people, and that is Lyanna Mormont. So, little lady bear, honey bear, she is a beast. She's been a beast since the very first scene that she was a part of. And, I mean, she's still holding 0 punches throughout. She stands up in front of everyone and tells Jon that they named him the King of the North because they believed in him. They swore loyalty to him. And now they don't even know what to call him. So this, of course, would be the moment where Jon is supposed to give this huge, elaborate speech about, you know, the good of the people and this, that, whatever. Well, he was just kind of like, hey, I didn't want to be king. You know, I found a ruler who could help us. I got us help. There you go. I'm not king anymore. That was basically his whole thing. So Tyrion, he's trying to ease over the tensions between the Northerners and everyone else. And, of course, they don't want to hear from a Lannister. Come on now, Tyrion. I could have told you that. I mean, he's good with words, but the Northerners, they don't care. They live in the harshest climate possible. I mean, in the first season, they were talking about how kids froze all the time, and it just happened. People starved all the time, and it just happened. I mean, they don't care. They don't like you. It's not going to go over very well. So, back to what is currently going on at King's Landing. Cersei is meeting with the Golden Company, and she's very interested to hear what forces they've brought with them. Of course, she is so super bummed at the fact that she is not getting these freaking elephants. I guess she was promised elephants, which I know that's a meme within itself, and I understand why she wants elephants. Daenerys has dragons, for Christ's sake. Cersei wants some elephants. She wants some large animals to just show off and flaunt of her own. And let's face it, I mean, the elephants, while they may not be the best seaworthy creatures, they could potentially do some damage on the battlefield. I mean, stomping on zombies, or, I mean, I highly doubt they're like these huge woolly mammoth-esque, just huge characters that we'd see like in Lord of the Rings or something. But still, an elephant would be quite a status symbol for her. And to not have them is a pretty big disappointment for her. She was really, really, really rooting on those elephants. But she does send him off for the day as still the crown's true friend. That leads into Euron, and Euron apparently really wants to break off a piece of Cersei. And Cersei probably has one of the best lines of this entire episode, and then immediately ruins it. But I'll tell you my theories as to why this happened. So she tells him that if he wants a whore, then go get a whore. If he wants a queen, then he'll have to earn her. And then immediately after, she allows him into her bedchamber, and yes, they have sex. That happens. But I understand why she's probably doing this, But at the same time, I wish she had stuck to her guns and maybe just like snuck him in through a side door or like through the back door or something. But the fact that she allowed him through the front door of her court in front of all of her advisors and her Queen's Guard, that was so freaking disappointing for me. Like, let him be your dirty secret. But I understand why she did this. If she's saying, if what she said to Jaime in the last season was true, then she's pregnant. And with Jaime leaving her side, quote unquote, betraying her, and Yoren now being at her side, this child, if she lies and states that it's his now, it could potentially lead to a stronger alliance or a better grasp at Yoren's loyalty. That being said, I highly doubt it. I mean, Euron Greyjoy, he basically tells Yara in the scene right before this that he's there to bed a queen. Let's be honest. If it didn't go one way, he was just going to try to go after Daenerys, which that was his original plan to begin with. Just saying. He's going to jump ship if he has to. It's not a big deal. But while Cersei and Euron are doing their deed, that means that Theon and a crew loyal to Yara are able to actually get her back and free her. So now Yara once again has control of at least part of the Iron Fleet. I don't know how many ships she actually has, if it's just the one or if it's a couple, but she states that she is going to reclaim this one island, and if Daenerys needs it, she will have a base to fall back on and retreat to. So, pretty safe, pretty smart strategic move in Yara's. No, sorry, all of their names are so close together. Yoren, Yara. So, Theon tells his sister that he needs to go back to the north. He wants to fight with Jon Snow. He wants to fight with the Starks. And let's face it, he was raised like a Stark. I mean, Ned Stark was more of a father to him than his own father ever was. He's closer to Jon and to Bran than he ever really was with Yara. So the two siblings do part once again, and that leads us back to the north with all the craziness going on there. So it's still characters who haven't seen each other for seasons being reintroduced to each other, reunited. We do get a great moment between Gendry and Arya, and the dragon glass there and a weapon that she wants. We do get Arya and the Hound. There's a Sansa and Tyrion moment that's pretty great, where you know, they talk about their failed marriage, I guess. So, question. I know their wedding was never consummated, and then she was wed again, and that was unfortunately consummated. But there was never an actual annulment. So, are Sansa and Tyrion still married? Real question. Tell me in the comment section below. I don't know. Because I know it was never technically consummated, so they were only married in title. They were only husband and wife in name. But it was never actually disavowed by the church or publicly by either one of them. So, I don't know. That is a question for the comment section. Please tell me. But we do also get to see, unfortunately, Dany with, she and Jorah go to meet Sam, and she's there to thank Sam for saving Jorah and curing him of grayscale when no one else could or would. And that's when she finds out that he's a Tarly. So, if you don't recall, Daenerys, well, she sentenced Lord Tarly and his son to death. Yeah. That was a really awkward Dracarys moment now, looking back. But, Sam, being pretty brokenhearted about it, walks out. It's kind of awkward. But, throughout the episode, we saw quite a bit of the courtship between Jon and Daenerys that we saw towards the end of last season continued. There were some pretty funny moments with the dragons. Like, you know, Daenerys and Jon are busy trying to get busy, and Drogon's just like staring at him like, there's your dog staring at you. But and even their all their advisors talking about what needs to happen next with this couple. You know, is there a proposal in the works? Because, you know, they're a pretty handsome couple. So that leads me back to Sam, when Sam was fleeing the library of Daenerys and Jorah at the time, and he runs into Bran. So Bran, this entire episode, was just staring bullets and daggers into everyone. Well, staring daggers, because we don't do guns in Game of Thrones. But just staring through everyone. And just the three-eyed raven being a creep this entire episode. Like, no emotion. Staring. Scary stuff. So he informs Sam that it's time. Jon needs to know the truth. He needs to know who he truly is, that he is in fact Aegon Targaryen, and that he is the rightful king of the Seven Kingdoms. So Sam goes to greet his old friend. Yeah, so that whole bro hug moment, it got cut really short when he started telling him, you know, like, Daenerys killed my family, and oh yeah, by the way, you're actually a Targaryen. That was really awkward, especially when he came to terms with the fact that the most honest man that he had ever known had lied to him his entire life about who he truly was. So, yeah. And a couple of the questions that are left at the end of this episode are whether or not Cersei will actually honor her word and send troops to help protect the North and to fight alongside of the Northerners, Daenerys, and the rest of the companies. She's not. I'm with Sansa on this. She's not. She's just waiting for everyone to get killed, and then she's got all of her armies that are probably going to swoop in. Either that, or she's waiting for them to get really, really desperate, and then they're going to swoop in and try to kill everyone. Just saying. Cersei, she's scary. But, and more questions. Did Jon bend the knee to Daenerys because he truly thought that she would be a great queen for the Seven Kingdoms, or because he was in love with her? It's a question that Sansa Stark raises to Jon. And the last, and probably the one question that's going to start the biggest argument, is whether or not, if this is true about Jon, which, you know, it is, he's a Targaryen. If it's true, does that mean that Dany will bend the knee to him and allow him to be the king of the Seven Kingdoms, or at least, you know, state that he's got a higher claim than she does? I'm going to say right now, no. That's really gonna kill their whole honeymoon vibe that they have going on. Like, this entire episode, they're like making moon eyes at each other and like trying to like steal away to like go make out in the snow and do other stuff while dragons watch them, and, you know, fly dragons together, which, you know, that was pretty cute. But I'm just saying, the armies that she's collected, both the Unsullied, the Dothraki, and, you know, the Myrinians that she does have, they're all loyal to her. for various things that she's done. The dragons, for example, she carried their eggs into the fires. She cared for them when they were this big. Jon Snow, which, spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched the first season of this show yet, if you're watching the 8th season and you haven't watched the first season, shame on you. Okay, go back and rewatch all of the previous stuff, because you are probably lost right now with everything I'm saying. But it was spoiled in the first season that he is not actually a quote-unquote dragon Targaryen, because a true dragon, weird quotations, a true dragon is fireproof. Fire cannot kill a dragon. We learned that from Daenerys herself. So, is Jon a true dragon? No, he's not. He's not fireproof. He can burn, okay? I love the Starks. I have no problem seeing Jon on the Iron Throne, but my thing is, if he's on the Iron Throne, Daenerys sure as hell better be sitting on that frickin' throne right next to him. Okay, it's a big seat. They can either smoosh together, or he can stand and let her sit, okay? She's a frickin' queen. She collected all those armies and the dragons, so it's kind of awesome. But that's just my theory on it. Personally, there's a lot going on there. I know there's a lot of theories as to what's going on with Bran. A lot of things going on throughout. Two more things before I end this whole recap. I'm really bad at recaps. I'm sorry. I ramble a lot. But Torment at the Umber's Hall, which I'm not really sure why they're at the Umber's Hall. So he's leading a brigade of Night's Watch and wildlings through Umber's Hall. Now, when that happens, we get to hear someone yell out, "Look out, he's got blue eyes." And Torment yelling at him, "I've always had blue eyes." And I think it's Ed from the Night's Watch. I could be wrong. I couldn't really tell them apart. I'm sorry. The Night's Watch guys just kind of all blended together at certain points. But we do get to see a leftover message from the Night King himself in the unfortunate form of a now White Walkered Lord Umber and a bunch of severed arms, which, when lit on fire, I know a lot of people are stating anything from "this is a sun" to "this is a callback to the Targaryens" to, you know, any number of things to Valyrian roots. There's a lot of different things that are going on right now throughout speculation. That being said, the TV series is completely separated from the books right now. They are way farther ahead than the books, and they've deviated so much in the stories. I don't think that we should necessarily state like, oh, well, it's in the books like this, so this has to happen, because there's a lot of things that are very different from the books in this series. And one of the last things that we see in this entire episode is Jaime Lannister actually being at Winterfell. And who is the first person he recognizes when at Winterfell? I don't know, maybe the kid he crippled the last time he was at Winterfell? Yeah, Bran's there, and they're both locking eyes. So, of course, the three-eyed raven is probably not going to be like, "You son of a bitch, you took my legs." But I highly doubt that it's going to go over well when the rest of the Starks see the Kingslayer there. Probably not going to go over terribly well. However, thankfully, you know, one thing that's in Jaime's corner is the fact that Tyrion's there. And the one person who Jaime truly loves is Tyrion. Tyrion truly loves Jaime, you know. Jaime was the only person that ever really had Tyrion's back throughout, so we'll see where that goes. I'm really excited to see all of these characters finally interacting with each other throughout. I'm super bummed that this is the final season and we only have a limited amount of time left with these characters. I mean, it's breaking my heart. I don't want to see any of them go, but I know there's a ton of theories going around the internet right now as to what's going on with who will end on the Iron Throne, who will live, who will die, who will end up where. And I'm excited. I'm so excited. We all know I'm rooting for my queen, my Daenerys, but what's going to happen with Cersei? What's going to happen with Sansa? What's going to happen with all of these characters, and how are they all going to go? Because I know a number of them have to die in order to keep it going. Because let's be honest, it's Game of Thrones. You get to love someone, they die horribly. It's kind of just something you have to get used to as a Game of Thrones fan. So yeah, that is it for this recap. Please do give me a like if you liked this video, guys. Please do comment below and tell me all of your reactions. What were your favorite parts? What are you the most excited to see out of the season? What are some of the things that you think are going to happen? Who do you think is going to be on the Iron Throne? That's the one question I think I'm the most excited about. Who is going to finally end on the Iron Throne? I know there's a ton of new merch out that has like everyone on the Iron Throne, from the Night King to Daenerys to Cersei to Sansa to Tyrion to Arya, to everyone is basically on the Iron Throne at some point. No, I'm pretty sure Gendry's not going to be on the Iron Throne. So that one person in the comment section below, it says, oh, well, I think Gendry, you know, since he's the illegitimate son of Robert Baratheon, the one that actually survived, I think he should be on the Iron Throne. Yeah, he's not going to be on the Iron Throne. I'm sorry. But, yeah, please do subscribe to Comic Core if you are not already. Also, check out my channels here on YouTube. KatRen Figures, my YouTube channel, my YouTube comic book channel, or Cinema Figures, my movie and like series channel. It's my new baby. I got both of them. They're sister channels. But yeah, or you know, check us out live on Friday nights, or actually anytime throughout the week. I think there's something almost every night on Comic Core. So please do hit that bell. There's a lot of really great live shows and even some pre-recorded content like this up for offer here on this channel. Also, we have the Facebook page, the Facebook messages, and you know, Instagram. Check us out on Instagram. A lot of really great creators throughout. So yeah, until next time. Bye. Look out, men! His eyes are blue!
My eyes have always been blue!